Hi, and welcome to Across the Desk. Well, the election's coming up really quickly here in less than a week and a half. It'll be over. We'll be voting. People are already voting. Early voting started in Oklahoma as well as in other states. Mail-in voting has been going on for a little while, and record turnouts and early voting has happened, which typically helps the Democratic candidate. It tells something that a lot of people are being engaged, as well as we have something new that's come out as an endorsement to Kamala Harris and her campaign from a Republican mayor. So to start right off, I want to talk about an endorsement from a conservative Republican mayor of a red state, the red state I'm from, Oklahoma. So Mayor Holt, who is the mayor of Oklahoma City, a Republican, has come out and endorsed Kamala Harris for president. He talked about how character matters, values really matter, and how he's just not a crazy fascist MAGA conservative. He's just not. He's more moderate. Now, he does have conservative leanings. He does have Republican policies that he would like to champion that some I would disagree with, but still, he's really willing to work with others. He doesn't like the divisiveness and the anger that you see within the Republican Party today and the conservative movement. He doesn't like it. He says this absolutely matters. Harris is absolutely the most suited and absolutely the most experienced and educated for this job, not Donald Trump. So he's endorsed Kamala Harris for president. This is an astonishing thing because here we are in super red Oklahoma, and David Hull is endorsing the Democratic candidate for president. Now, this isn't unlike anything else we haven't seen. We've seen a lot of other Republicans come out and endorse Harris for president. Senators, governors, all kinds of other people, even a former vice president has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. And then you look at the polling and go, wow, why is the polling so close? Well, there's a few reasons. One, hey, races do tighten up as we get towards election day. They really do. The other thing is the polls, just like Nate Silver has said, and I respect Nate Silver, I think he's a good pollster, but he even has said, hey, look, we weight this towards Republicans because we expect more Republicans to come out and vote. Well, you know, when you're seeing the numbers like you do right now, which are record numbers in early voting, records, they're breaking records on early voting. When you see that, you know it's more than just Republicans and more than just likely voters that are showing up to vote. And really, since about 2018, it's been like that, and pollsters have really had a hard time giving us accurate polls because of that. So it's really a big unknown. There's a bit of, hey, you know, uncertainty and unknown because the polls and the way they've been doing their statistical data, it really doesn't work anymore. And it hasn't for the last 6 years. So, hey, it could be close. It really could. And really, when it comes down to it, the way we elect our presidents is through delegates in a republic type manner. And when you look at that, it really comes down to the 7 battleground states. How are they going to vote? Because Oklahoma, even though we have Mayor Holt who endorsed Kamala Harris, probably going to go to Trump. More than likely going to go to Trump. More than any other state, really. So it comes down to these 7 battlegrounds. And out of those 7 battlegrounds, the one you really want to watch is Pennsylvania. Because you see, Pennsylvania has like 19 or 20 delegates in their state that will go to the winner of the state, which is about a third of all the delegates from the 7 battlegrounds. So whoever wins Pennsylvania probably is going to have the best chance of winning the presidency. He's most likely going to be the winner of the presidency is the one who wins Pennsylvania, and it's going to come down to that. Now, I'll say, man, that's just not fair. That's just not how it should be, but it really is. It really is. We're a republic. We vote for our delegate to vote for the president in Washington, D.C., and states get to decide how to determine those delegates, and most of them are winner take all. So whoever wins Pennsylvania, yeah, is most likely going to be president of the United States, because really all you can do is win Pennsylvania and one other battleground state, and you win. That's it. The other candidate can take all the other 5 battleground states and still lose. Absolutely, yes. So that's where we're at with the election, with everything that's going on. But, you know, all these big endorsements from Republicans to Kamala Harris that's got to do something. You got to say that it has to do something, because Trump doesn't have that. He doesn't have a whole bunch of Democratic mayors, governors, and ex-officials coming out and saying, yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. You just don't see that with him. But really, that's not what I want to talk about on this show. I just wanted to put that out there because, hey, that's the big news. David Holt, a Republican in Deep Red, Oklahoma, who is the mayor of Oklahoma City, has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. That's big news, even around here. That's absolutely big news. But really what I want to talk about is the anger and the divisiveness that we're seeing with Republicans and the conservative movement today. You see it everywhere. The anger of people going after people that just aren't MAGA enough. We have people giving death threats to their fellow Republicans because they're not MAGA fascist enough. Not MAGA fascist enough? Well, you need to have death threats hurled at you, and that's what they do in their anger. And they're pining to divide people. This is what they do. And we see it all over the place. This is what they do. Hey, Kaya Rude Chick. That's what I call her. Can't pronounce her real name that well, so I just call her Miss Rude Chick. She's a TikTok lady that works for Ryan Walters, who is really one angry and divisive guy. Look at the way he runs the State Board of Education and his office. Total divisiveness. He talks about shutting out the left, shutting out Democrats. That's divisiveness. You're not even going to talk to these people. You're not even going to listen to them. As a matter of fact, you're going to listen to them as much as you can so that you can be as divisive and chaotic as you can be to these people. That's exactly what he's doing. And he's so angry in the way he does it. Whenever you look at his tone, he goes on Fox News. He's using our money to do this. So he riles people up. And the next thing you know, lives a TikTok lady who works for him, is telling all her followers, and next thing you know, through stochastic terrorism, they're throwing bomb threats at schools and elected officials. This is exactly what's going on. And we can see this on the national level too. Clay Higgins, really angry guy, wants to touch people. He grabbed a guy on the mall, Washington Mall, picked him up. I totally assaulted this guy for his free speech. Exactly what Clay Higgins does. He comes out and says, hey, if they're going to come after Trump, well, then they better prepare for violence. They better be ready to fight, and they better be ready for violence. This is where Clay Higgins is. This is where the conservatives are today. The anger and the division. This is what they do. This isn't just it. Here we go, Colorado Secretary of State back about a year ago was saying, hey, we're looking into removing Trump from the ballot because of the insurrection. Next thing you know, 600 death threats come in. Yes, in about 24 hours. That's what happens. This is bomb threats, death threats. It's all up and down. And it's not just like Colorado Secretary of State, death threats to here lately. Just the latest thing was meteorologists. We had the hurricanes come through Florida, and they were talking about all this stuff, and they were saying, hey, this is how hurricanes happen, and they started getting death threats from conservatives and Republicans because they absolutely believe in cloud seeding and that Democrats are somehow controlling the weather, creating hurricanes and steering them into Florida and red states. Yeah, it's not global warming. It's not climate change. It's not anything else. It's absolutely Democrats able to control the weather. This is just, it's anger to the point that you've lost your mind and can't think logically, because that's what happens. You get angry, and then you lose the ability to think. You lose the ability to be rational and logical, and that's where they go to. Yeah, they're cloud seeding, and they're doing this to harm red states. No kidding. And then the death threats come into meteorologists. The anger and the division. And then they come after FEMA. Not only that, you've got militiamen hunting FEMA people that are helping people that have been devastated with these hurricanes. Now you got the militia going after them for what? So that they can't help people? It just doesn't make any sense on a logical level. But there you go. When people get angry, they don't think logically. And that's what you're seeing right here. Conservatives being anger, throwing division. And that's what happens, right? So they're being so divisive. And that's exactly what we see with this. Division against those who aren't Christians. Division against those who aren't white. Division against those who aren't USA citizens. Division of those who aren't Christians, right? It's divisiveness, it's anger, and it's taken it to a place of pettiness and cruelty. And we see that. We see that with our governor here in Oklahoma and the way he went after the tribes, the Native American tribes. I mean, the things he did were just so petty and sometimes just cruel. And what he tried to do to the tribes, because they wouldn't negotiate, they didn't have to negotiate on their earnings from the casinos they give to Oklahoma as you know, revenue and what else they do for the state of Oklahoma. So he tried to do things to harm, actually harm, and get in the way, throw the, you know, monkey wrench in the works and try to gum up stuff and cause a bunch of chaos when it comes to the tribes of Oklahoma because, you know, hey, he's angry. He's bitter. He's divisive. And that's exactly what that does. It causes division, and it's exactly what he did. It's exactly what he did. And so there you have it. The anger and the division of Republicans, as we can see with the bomb threats, with the death threats, with anybody on the right, even among Republicans who are like, you know, I'm just not MAGA fascist enough. Well, you know what? We need to give you guys death threats if you're not going to be. You need to get out of here. And that's exactly where they're at with things. So that's the show for this week. We have the Oklahoma City mayor, who's a Republican, touts being a conservative with real values, saying, you know, character matters. Trump doesn't have it. Kamala does. And the anger and the divisiveness of conservatives and Republicans today. Well, like always, this is Across the Desk. We're going to see you next week.